Everything together, in partnership, in solidarity, to support what is necessary at this very moment in terms of the humanitarian and security needs of Ukraine and the Ukrainian people.
Vice President Kamala Harris out in Poland and doing her best to clean up the big mess over fighter jets for Ukraine. The Biden administration claiming a breakdown in communication as the reason for them blocking the deal that would have gotten Ukrainians the air defense capabilities desperately needed to fight off the Russian invasion. Harris claiming the U.S. is united with Poland despite the disconnect, even dodging a question about it.
What kind of alternative plans does the United States have to get materials to help Ukraine defend itself? Especially now that you have declined Poland's offer on jets?
I want to be very clear. The United States and Poland are united in what we have done and are prepared to do to help Ukraine and the people of Ukraine. Full stop.
1990 marschiert Saddam Hussein in Kuwait ein, im August 1990. April Glaspie, die amerikanische Botschafterin, sagt ihm zuvor, die Amerikaner hätten nichts dagegen, wenn er seine internationalen Probleme so löst, wie er das für richtig hält. Als er aber einmarschiert, sagt man sofort, das geht ja gar nicht. Der UNO-Sicherheitsrat verhängt ein Embargo. Es gibt einen Krieg, Operation Desert Storm, die Amerikaner bombardieren Irak und Kuwait 1991.
Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait.
1996 sagt Madeleine Albright, die Außenministerin, ist im Fernsehen, im amerikanischen Fernsehen, und die Journalistin fragt, in diesem Embargo gegen Irak sind schon 500.000 Kinder gestorben. Ist es der Preis wert? Und sie sagt, yes, I think the price is worth it. Das ist die imperiale Politik. Die Grünen sagen, nie Krieg etc. Und dann Joschka Fischer und Schröder machen 1999 mit dem amerikanischen Imperium mit und bombardieren Serbien. Völlig illegal. Ein illegaler Angriffskrieg.
Liebe Mitbürgerinnen und Mitbürger, heute Abend hat die NATO mit Luftschlägen gegen militärische Ziele in Jugoslawien begonnen.
Und es wird mit dem Trauma der Deutschen gearbeitet, dass die Regierung nämlich behauptet, es gebe Konzentrationslager in Serbien, was nicht wahr war, aber was natürlich in der deutschen Bevölkerung diesen Schockeffekt ausgelöst hat. Und dann hat man ohne UNO-Mandat, ist man plötzlich wieder im Krieg, unter Rot-Grün.
Judgment, an independent exposé, reveals how a British film crew photographed a Bosnian emergency shelter to look like a Nazi concentration camp.
Ja, das haben viele bis heute noch nicht richtig verarbeitet, ich vielleicht auch nicht, aber so ist es. Wir wollen keine Kriegspropaganda, wir wollen keine Folter, wir wollen keinen Überwachungsstaat, wir wollen keine Milliarden für die Rüstungsindustrie und wir wollen eigentlich diesen ganzen Wahnsinn gar nicht. Den brauchen wir nicht, hört auf, wir wollen ihn nicht.
If you had told us just 4 days ago that the Biden administration was funding secret biolabs in Ukraine of all places, we would not have believed you. Yeah, I don't think we're going to put that on TV, no thanks. Then if you told us that not only did the administration fund these secret biolabs in Ukraine, but that they then failed to secure the deadly contents of those labs before the Russian invasion, an invasion they knew was coming, an invasion they helped encourage, if you had told us that 4 days ago, we would have dismissed you as a nut. It was just too preposterous. We would not want anything to do with a story like that. There was no way it could be true. It's too far out.
Die Amerikaner haben insgesamt $5 Milliarden in den Umsturz in der Ukraine investiert.
Ja, ja, sagt Putin.
Nein, Victoria Nuland.
Fuck you.
Fuck the EU.
Victoria Nuland is now Joe Biden's Undersecretary of State in charge of Ukraine, and she knows a lot about Ukraine. In 2014, Toria Nuland engineered a coup in Ukraine in the name of democracy, of course. So she is a highly informed source about Ukraine. So she was having this colloquy with Senator Marco Rubio of Florida during her testimony. And at one point, Rubio took a tack that we were not expecting at all. He asked Nuland if Ukraine had biological weapons. We'd never imagined Ukraine would have biological weapons. Why would Ukraine have bioweapons? So it seemed like a pretty strange question. But it wasn't half as shocking as the answer he got. Watch what Toria Nuland said.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
Ukraine has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
Oh. Does Ukraine have biological weapons? Ukraine has biological research facilities. What? You mean secret biolabs? Like the secret biolabs Ukraine definitely doesn't have? Ukraine has those? Yes, it does. And not only does Ukraine have secret biolabs, Toria Nuland said, whatever they're doing in those labs is so dangerous and so scary that she is, quote, quite concerned that the so-called research material inside those biolabs might fall into the hands of Russian forces. Try not to use profanity on the air to describe our reaction. Our jaws drop. Let's leave it there. Under oath in an open committee hearing, Toria Nuland just confirmed that the Russian disinformation they've been telling us for days is a lie and a conspiracy theory and crazy and immoral to believe is in fact totally and completely true. Whoa. What exactly are they doing in these secret Ukrainian biolabs? Ukraine is the poorest country in Europe. It's hardly a hotbed of biomedical research. We're assuming these weren't pharmaceutical labs, probably not developing new leukemia drugs. From your answer, Toria Nuland, we would assume, because you all but said it, that there is a military application to this research, that they were working on bioweapons. Again, your answer suggests that. If the, quote, research materials in these labs were to escape somehow, and you seem very concerned about that, what would be the effect on Ukraine and then on the rest of the world? How can we prepare for the consequences of that, this thing that you're worried about? Shouldn't we be preparing? Because as it turns out, we've just spent the last 2 years living with a pathogen that began in another foreign biolab funded by the United States government secretly. So this question is on our mind. It seems fair. But Rubio did not ask those questions. Instead, he changed the subject and told us once again that Vladimir Putin is bad. Watch.
If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
Okay, just get a pen. So what you're saying, Toria Nuland, if, for example, you were funding secret biolabs in Ukraine but wanted to hide that fact from the people who are paying for it, in whose name you were doing it, then you might lie about it by claiming the Russians were lying about it. In other words, you might mount a disinformation campaign by claiming the other guy was mounting a disinformation campaign. Is that what you're saying, Toria Nuland? It's pretty funny.
2003, Irakkrieg, habe ich schon gesprochen, mehr als 1 Million Tote seither im Irak.
In the meantime, let's review what little we do know about this. We're going to start with a spokesman for the Russian Defense Ministry on Sunday. Now, we would never do this. We never played anything like this on the show before because, of course, we're Americans and we want to know what's going on. We ask our own officials, the people we elect and whose salaries we pay, because it's our country. We don't go to foreign sources because we trust our own sources first. But when it turns out the people who represent us and run our government are lying to us and never apologize for it and doing horrific things in our names, then you have to open your mind a little bit and at least assess what other people are saying. So here was the Russian claim. Watch.
During the course of the special military operation, facts were uncovered of the Kyiv regime mopping up traces of military biological program under development in Ukraine, financed by the U.S. Defense Ministry.
Okay. That may have been the root of the conspiracy theories that the fact checks told us were Russian disinformation. Let's quote it. Military biological programs are under development in Ukraine financed by the U.S. Defense Ministry. That's the Russian claim. Separately, a Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman said the Ukrainians are working on deadly pathogens, including plague and anthrax. Is that true? Now, obviously, we would not take Russia's word for that, ever, but we don't have to take Russia's word for that. The U.S. Defense Department has a website that contains this media clip about the opening of a biological research facility in Ukraine in 2010. Quote, U.S. Senator Dick Lugar applauded the opening of the interim Central Reference Laboratory in Odessa, Ukraine this week, announcing that it will be instrumental in researching dangerous pathogens used by bioterrorists. The Level 3 biosafety lab will be used to study anthrax, tularemia, and Q fever, as well as other dangerous pathogens. Oh, okay. Other world powers have come to the obvious conclusion. Again, we hate to do this, but under these circumstances, we asked our own spokespeople. They lied. We're going to the Foreign Ministry of China, a country we despise. Here's what they said today.
Over the past 2 decades, the United States has been blocking the establishment of a verification regime to the Biological Weapons Convention and refused to accept the inspection of biological facilities within and outside its borders. The move has further aggravated the concern of the international community. We once again urge the U.S. to provide full clarification of its biomilitarization activities within and outside its borders and accept multilateral verification.
Oh, they're putting Russian and Chinese propaganda on the screen. Yeah, we did. We also put U.S. government propaganda on the screen. And the difference is we expect to be lied to by foreign governments. We're not globalists. We believe in one country. It's this country, the United States. We do not expect to be lied to by our government, and we won't accept it. We now know that dangerous biological agents, whether you call them weapons or not, is completely irrelevant because they can be used as weapons. Is a gun a weapon? Not when you're quail hunting. When you're in a gunfight, it is. It's a ridiculous semantic debate. Dangerous biological agents remain, thanks to the Biden administration, unsecured in a chaotic war zone. But in the meantime, we pray that somewhere in the United States government there is an adult who cares enough to get this situation under control immediately.
Sarkozy, Obama und die Briten, zu dritt, Cameron, greifen Libyen an. Das Recht hatten sie nicht. Sie sehen immer wieder, sind die NATO-Staaten aggressiv. Trotzdem stellt sich die NATO dar als ein Friedensbündnis oder ein rein defensives Bündnis. Ist sie nicht. Die NATO ist ein aggressives Angriffsbündnis und eine Gefahr für den Weltfrieden. Das ist die Tatsache. 2014 fängt der Ukraine-Krieg an. Ja? Und da wieder die Amerikaner sagen, ja, das ist Putins Schuld. Der ist irgendeines Morgens aufgestanden und hat gesagt, jetzt kralle ich mir die Krim. Ja? So war es aber nicht. So war es nicht. Es war eine verdeckte Operation, die darauf abzielte, die Ukraine eine andere Regierung zu verpassen, damit eine neue Regierung die Ukraine in die NATO hineinzieht. Ja. Es gab einen Putsch. Und die Russen haben auf diesen Putsch reagiert und sich ihren Stützpunkt auf der Schwarzmeerflotte gesichert, indem sie dort eine Abstimmung durchgeführt haben. Dann kam es zur Sezession der Krim. Natürlich können wir das noch lange weitermachen, aber sehen Sie, der amerikanische Imperialismus, und hier nehme ich nur ein paar Fakten, ich habe überhaupt nicht alles erwähnt, über Agent Orange habe ich noch gar nicht gesprochen, es gibt noch viele andere, Hiroshima, Nagasaki habe ich nicht erwähnt, hat Herr Drewermann schon gesagt, aber wir sprechen hier nicht über ein kleines Problem, sondern wir haben ganz massive Gewaltprobleme mit dem amerikanischen Imperialismus. Und da muss die Friedensbewegung sagen, nein, wir sind eine Menschheitsfamilie, es ist niemand ausgeschlossen. Durch die Geburt gehört man zur Menschheitsfamilie und das Leben ist heilig.